It's like my grandfather always used to tell me, you know it's going to be a banger of a video when a YouTuber for a gacha game opens on a Congress.gov page. Welcome everyone to my channel. I am Fastidious. How the heck are you? I'm doing okay. It's an interesting time in the realm for anyone that is a watcher of realms enjoyer. I really am going to break it all down to the absolute best of my knowledge right here in this video, guys. But if you still have any questions, you want answers, or you just want to hang out and commiserate with a fellow Watcher of Realms lover, I will go live the second this video is published on Twitch, and we can just chat about stuff, hang out for an hour, and maybe we'll all feel a little better. As of now, Watcher of Realms and all ByteDance applications and games and everything are still down in America. But as you can see, I still am in the game, so I will explain that in the video. Basically just comes down to a VPN, but just to transition right into it, the use of VPNs is very much a Band-Aid solution, right? There will be no new player acquisition and retention if the game is not available in the US. At least no American players will be acquired and retained. If it's a new game you're not already in love with, no one's going to make the extra effort to adopt it. We will discuss that later, but quickly you can see as of now, I'm using a fully free VPN called Proton VPN. I tried a few free ones. This one seems to not be taking my data and seems to be the safest, so we'll discuss that later. But you know, long term, for this game to succeed, have tons of investment back in it, it needs the American audience. That's just a fact. Just look at Dragonair. It died in the US and it's effectively dead now. Dead as a doorknob. That's how this thing goes. The US audience is really large, so the game going down there means a lot less money coming into the game, which means less money getting put back into the game, which means a slow death cycle. But I definitely don't think we need to burn it all down yet and necessarily jump to those extremes. So I want to take you through everything I know. I made a video last night, basically the second the news dropped. It's been about 13 hours now since that happened. We have a lot of perspective. We have a lot of specifics. Maybe you guys have heard that Trump has offered the idea of signing an executive order day one in office, aka tomorrow, lifting the ban and extending the use of TikTok and other ByteDance applications by 90 days. I've heard concerns from people saying, well, who cares about 90 days? The point of the 90 days is not Trump trying to say like, hey, don't you love me? I got you 3 months more of TikTok. No, it's to give us a 90-day period for the US to negotiate with ByteDance and try to get divestiture out of ByteDance so it's no longer majority owned by Chinese companies. If that was to happen, it would be great news for our game because it would mean we're on the path to a long-term solution and maybe a permanent fix. So this would not be able to happen again. So what's going on? Let's discuss. Officially yesterday, this act, this law in America, HR 7521, the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act, came into effect. This is a law that basically says the US government and the president have the power to assess if any specific application is potentially doing any nefarious behind-the-scenes stuff that could negatively affect the United States and their interests. And if so, they can just ban that thing until there's like a majority divestment from that foreign adversary that is controlling it, right? So I know I'm getting to a lot of little specifics here. What you really need to know is directly shouted out in this act, in this law, is TikTok and ByteDance subsidiaries. Watcher of Realms is developed by Moonton, which is owned by Nuverse, which is under the umbrella of ByteDance, which is it's a subsidiary of ByteDance. So that's kind of where it comes. The bill prohibits distributing, maintaining, and providing internet hosting services for a foreign adversary-controlled application, and right off the bat, for example, TikTok. Under the bill, a foreign adversary-controlled application is directly or indirectly operated by, one, ByteDance Limited or TikTok. Our game, Watcher of Realms, is very much indirectly operated by ByteDance. If we actually go into the specifics of the bill, I promise we're not going to hang out here for too long. Do not worry. But if we go to the text section over here, we can scroll down and you guys will see, I'm sure you had this on your bingo card for what I'd be doing today and what you'd be watching. If we scroll down, you can see we are in point 2 right now, prohibition of foreign adversary controlled applications. If we go to subpoint 3, the term foreign adversary controlled application means a website, desktop application, mobile application, or augmented or immersive technology application that is operated directly or indirectly through a parent company, subsidiary, or affiliate of, and they say it clear as day here, point A. So we're on section 2, subpoint 3, point A, any of ByteDance Limited. It is right there. And who does ByteDance Limited own? That would be Nuverse. Who does Nuverse own? That would be Moonton. What game does Moonton make, among others? Us, Watcher of Realms, right? So that right there is the nitty gritty of the legality. Let's get into what this actually means. Let's get out of all this legal stuff. Let's talk about implications. So let's head over from Congress.gov to something far more reliable, far more official. Let's go to Wikipedia. Let's keep it pretty simple. If we go over here, this is just breaking down the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act, aka the PFACA. So the PFACA, there you go, PFACA. It was an act of Congress. It was signed into law on April 24th, 2024, and it's a very bipartisan piece of legislation, and that's what I want to briefly talk about now. It was introduced by a Republican member of the House, right, a congressman, Mike Gallagher. It was then immediately co-signed and pushed by Raja Krishnamurthy. His name's actually longer than that. It's Subramanian Raja Krishnamurthy. They both seem like good guys. He's a Democrat. I wanted to shout that out. So it was bipartisan from the get. The voting was very successful. You can see on March 13th, the PFACA was passed by the House. The vote was 352 to 65. Only 50 Democrats and 15 Republicans were against this bill. So Trump might end up being our savior on this, but actually this was an idea first introduced by Trump, which would be a pretty Trump move. Like, you create the problem, you solve the problem, you get the glory. No more comments on that. But you can see it's like Republicans were very much for this, and the vast majority of Democrats were as well. Then if we go to the Senate over here, I already pulled this up and highlighted it. You can see it passed with flying colors through the Senate. There's 100 members of the Senate. I guess 3 people didn't vote, but it's 79 to 18. Super overwhelming majority here, 79 to 18. This law was actually hidden in an aid package for Ukraine. So not giving commentary on the U.S.'s support of Ukraine in one direction or another, but a big reason the Democrats were so on board with this is because they wanted to get that aid sent to Ukraine, and this was kind of part of the deal. It was, that's something that happens far too long in the U.S. And I want to quickly say, if you don't know what I mean by bipartisan, I am assuming a lot of you do, but maybe you're not from America. We just have 2 completely dominant parties in our political system. So it's just very us versus them or them versus us, depending on what side you are on for everything. So working together like this is pretty rare, and it shows that things are kind of sticky and might be tough. So you can see here Biden passed it. He signed it. And then actually last week, it was unanimously supported and upheld in the Supreme Court. So it passed very definitively all 3 branches of government with our checks and balances system, judicial, legislative, and then obviously executive with Biden signing it. So there you have it. What actually happened, right? What actually happened? Let's just pop this up from Apple about availability of TikTok and ByteDance Limited apps in the United States. TikTok and ByteDance Limited apps are no longer available in the United States, and visitors to the United States may have limited access. They get into all the specifics we already know, but there is something I wanted to point out here. These are the affected apps, among others, right? The following are some of the apps developed. Watch Realms is not listed here. We're small potatoes. They even did list Marvel Snap, so they're listing other games, but not our tiny little game. We're very much an unintended casualty or an unexpected casualty or whatever. How much did Moonton know or not know? I don't know. For sure, they could have foreseen this and maybe given us the heads up, but who knows? We're not on anyone's radar. This just... yeah, it stinks. I wish they gave us more notice. I feel like they would have been able to, but we can't say for sure. But you can see they list a million different TikTok things. They list CapCut, which is basically part of TikTok. These other things I've never heard of. And then Marvel Snap at the end. No Watcher of Realms. So this is not an attack against Watcher of Realms. We're just a tiny little fish that got affected by a tsunami in a very big pond or ocean or however you want to think about it. So let's go to, can the game be saved, right? Can it survive this? Trump to revive TikTok, but wants 50% U.S. ownership. This title sounds crazier than actually what he wants. Not always the case with Trump articles. But if you go in here, you'll see TikTok stopped working for 170 million American users late on Saturday before the law came into effect. It's the exact same thing. You can see here, TikTok is under the Chinese parent company ByteDance, which owns Nuverse, which owns Moonton, which runs Watcher of Realms. So everything went down. Everything went dark last night. You guys know that. Trump said, I would like the United States to have a 50% ownership position in a joint venture. By doing this, we save TikTok, keep it in good hands, and allow it to stay up. This is a typo, but he had a typo on his tweet, on his private tweet or whatever. his social. If we look right above, you'll see Trump said he would like to extend the period of time before the law's prohibitions take effect so that we can make a deal to protect our national security. And he's talked about a 90-day extension. And ideally, if you like TikTok or Watcher of Realms, in those 90 days, they'll find a way that there's a significant divestiture of the Chinese ownership of ByteDance to, other nationalities or American ownership as Trump wants it, something like that. So it's not like a majority Chinese owned thing. So if that was to happen in that 90-day period, theoretically, things could be pretty darn good. So let me pull this up from Ash. I told you guys I'd reach out to Ash. Love Ash. And he's really an expert on this stuff. If you don't know, he does cover Raid. He does cover Watcher of Realms. But Ash runs a huge influencer company really in this space. He deals with China a lot. So he's a good, really, really strong source of knowledge on this stuff. I reached out and said, hey, Ash, you have any ideas? He said, obviously, it's just my own thoughts. And I do have his permission to quote him on this. Obviously, it's just my own thoughts at this point, but I think it's a 50-50 Trump day one in office ends up trying to stop or ignore the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversaries Act, or the PFACA, as we have discussed. Ash goes on and says, I'm not a legal scholar, but glass half full, I think there's a ton of pressure to revert the act, and it's a cheap and easy win day one for Trump. That's for sure, right? Young women is not necessarily his demo. This would be huge for him, among other things, obviously. Then glass half empty. This is a bill that has already been passed by Congress and okayed by the Supreme Court. Now that it's actually gone into effect, it might be trickier or take longer to reverse. I think there's two sides to that coin. I think what you should take away from this, it's kind of how I feel. The 50-50, or you can say it's 60-40 or 30-70 or 80-20, whatever you want. There's no certainty here. Like, that's why I was saying people are like acting like I was telling people not to try to get a refund or this, that, and the other. I didn't say that once. I said, give it a day or two or three, right? Because we might know a ton tomorrow when Donald Trump becomes President Donald Trump again, and if he acts on this, and if something happens. So that will say a lot about what is to come. I hope that's clear to you guys, because this could end up being like a blip. We're like, remember those 3 days when we thought the game was going to die? Or this could be a week from now where I'm like, how the heck are you guys? I'm Fastidious. Check out Raid Shadow Legends, right? Like, it could easily go both ways. We do not know. So what do we do now? This is when we talk about VPNs, all right? How am I in the game right now? Well, I am using a VPN, specifically a free VPN called Proton. We will discuss that among others. There are also good paid options. It's all about your desire for privacy and your risk appetite. We'll talk about it. But VPNs, straight up, are a Band-Aid solution. As I touched on in the beginning of this video, you will not get new players that are American that don't already know and love the game if they have to use a VPN. For you guys, this is something you can do in the short term before the game dies, if that's the path we're on, which we don't know. If you want to keep playing, like I do, we freaking, look at that, we made Overlord. We made Overlord yesterday. I want to freaking keep playing. If you want to keep playing, VPNs will allow you to log into the game from America. And they're really, really easy to use. Some people are freaking out, acting like they're hard. They are not. I do want to tell you, it's kind of in the TOS that you're not supposed to use them, but it's a gray area. And I have confirmed that with the developers. I asked them 3 different times if it's okay for us to use VPNs. While they never explicitly said yes, they made it really clear they want Americans to keep playing the game. And they absolutely did not say no. After those conversations, I was comfortable downloading this and using this. However, the game will not continue to grow in America, which is their largest market, biggest moneymaker, and slowly and surely is going to die. It will. If we don't get a solution that it is revived in America, and quite frankly, pretty soon. I would say within the next week. Otherwise, people are going to start jumping ship. But if you want to keep playing because you're optimistic like me and you think there will be a resolution in 2 or 3 days, then I suggest you download a VPN if you live in America and you can start playing. So let's talk about options. If we head over here and we go, this is the one I'm using right now. It's called Proton VPN. You download it. I got the whole thing set up. It's just like you download a .exe very quickly. The whole thing was set up within a minute. You do this and then you're going to connect. There's a big button that says connect. You click the connect button and then almost certainly they'll start you on an American server. The way Proton specifically works, the reason I chose it, it seems the smoothest. And from what I've read, they're not taking my data, or if they are, they're taking less than some of the other free options. But the way Proton works is they have free servers available in America, the Netherlands, and Japan. Watcher of Realms is not available in Japan. Obviously, it's not available in America. So what you got to do is keep pressing change server until you get on an NL server, a Netherlands, a Dutch server. Once you do that, you boot up the game and you are good to go. Easy peasy. There are a couple other free options. You guys can look into them. I'm sure people are suggesting many. I know for PC users, some people are also using TunnelBear, but for me, we'll talk about TunnelBear in one moment. I tested 3 out. I found Proton to be the best from my research and from my testing. If you're on an Apple phone or device, if you're using iOS, from what I've gathered from other people's testing, shout out to Queer Al Yankovic, what a name. Windscribe is an excellent option for Apple users, for iOS people. And then TunnelBear, though I am somewhat averse to it, and I'll tell you why, it is owned and operated by McAfee. Maybe you've had McAfee not malware on your computer before. I hate McAfee, but people say good things about TunnelBear. This is supposed to work very well on Android devices. So if you have a Google phone or whatever, this is a nice option. If you want to go the paid route, I suggest NordVPN. I would also suggest being patient. As you can see, I did apply to be a Nord partner, as you might imagine. So I should have an affiliate link tomorrow if you want to go the paid route. But the free route, at least for the short term, works really well. And that's what I'm doing with Proton over here. Long term, though, they need to actually save the game to save the game. It needs to come back to life in America. We need something to happen, with our president or in Congress or something pretty dang soon for us to feel good. Otherwise, it's going to be time to move on. I will wrap up the video here with some at least good personal news, but I think maybe it speaks well to community sentiment. I released this video yesterday, USA banned, which as you can imagine, got a lot of views. This is not how I like to get views, but what I thought would happen, I knew it would get a lot of views. I thought this video would get 20,000 views. I mean, we can refresh it. I think I'm going to end up being right. You can see just since I started filming this video 30 minutes ago, my thing won't load. There we go. Another 500 views. So people are watching it, but I thought people would watch it and everyone would unsubscribe. You can actually see there's only like one, maybe 2 instances. One instance here where people unsubscribed because this video, somehow I'm gaining subscribers. 43 isn't a ton. This isn't to brag or something. This is to say, I thought people would watch this video and say, well, that's that. I'm done with Watcher Realms. No need to follow Fastidious anymore. And personally, I'll say thank you so much for not leaving. It means everything. But also, not even giving a shit about me. Talk about the game. A lot of people I think are listening to what I'm saying and maybe latching on to some of my optimism that I hope I'm putting out there. Maybe it's not as bad as we think. In 5 days, maybe we should be freaking out. But right now, I think we don't refund everything because then you'll be locked out of the game forever for 2 days. Wait to see what happens when Trump takes office tomorrow and stuff like that. This, like I said, might be a blip on the radar or it might be the end. We do not know. Thank you guys so much for your support. I tried to be as comprehensive as possible in this video. I don't know what else to say except a huge shout out to my guild, Sin, aka Sins. Insane. I can't believe we made Overlord. We won by 0.9%. We took 27th in the realm in GVG. And I actually was a contributor. I was like a top half of the guild. And I had the most defense wins because people want to say they could beat me. And sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. Specifically, a huge shout out to our guild leader, Hawkus. He did 84 of the attacks by himself, hopping on different accounts when the game died. 0.9%. Go Team Sins. If you want to join us, we have at least 1 or 2 more spots for next season. We're Overlord, baby. You want to be there. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope good stuff happens. As I said, I'm going live this second. If you're watching the video within an hour of it coming out, I am live on Twitch. Come check it out. Fingers crossed, dedos cruzados. We need good things to happen. I do not want this beautiful game to die. Love you guys. Thank you guys. Share with your mother. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Fastidious.